Kimmo Ruotoistenmäki. I'm from Cozify. We are a startup that is basically bringing the home automation to everybody. And today I'm going to speak about basically about our journey, as well as kind of mirroring into the IoT and home automation as general. So IoT in next couple of years will explode the home automation and smart home industry. In next few years, we are going to have huge amount of different connected devices in our homes, in our houses, each of which are kind of great, easy to install, easy to use mostly, and also affordable and retrofittable. So with this, actually, the estimation that I haven't done, the Gartner and the other research companies have made that by the 2020, the smart home industry will become from a, so to say, a niche market of some 10 billion to be something like $100 billion by in very short period of time. So when we look at this whole phenomenon from the user's perspective, there are, and there will be a couple of problems. First of all, the end user currently needs to learn about technologies, needs to learn about, how, what is the underlying radio technology that I should pick up to make these devices work together at least somehow. So all about Zigbees and Z-Waves and Wi-Fi's and all this stuff, user needs to learn about it. And that's a big hurdle for this one to go forward. Second of all is kind of more concrete, is the fact that all of these nice smart devices actually provide an application in your phone. So you actually end up having 20 plus applications, one which is for lights, another one for smart thermostats, third one for the vacuum cleaner or fridges. So in next couple of years, actually the early adopters are already experiencing these problems. There will be a huge clutter. So Cozify provides a solution for this clutter. What we do is that we provide a smart home hub which is able to talk to all of these different smart devices and then provide one single user interface for the end user. So with that, you can control everything from one nice single app, but also it acts as a brain for your house. So when you are carrying shopping bags in your hands and enter the house, the door is open for you, and house welcomes you with the music and lights and so on. Or when you are away, the thermostats are turned on, off, or put the temperature lower to save energy. When your kid comes home from school, you get the notification of it, and so on. So it's actually, the smart homes are not about creating a remote controlling from your phone applications. It truly is about the automation. Things happen automatically, and that's what we are doing. So on top of the actual physical device, Cozify Hub, which resides in your home, we're obviously providing the application and a lot of backend services to support the whole product. So as I said, we support all the major standards out there, meaning that there's 5 different radios built in the one box: Zigbee, Z-Wave, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth LE, and 433 MHz band. And with this we can have a future-proof hardware which then can be used with many different scenarios. We have paid a lot of attention to the design, from the physical appearance to the applications that we are building. And from the bottom up, we actually thought that once we are in Finland, we actually need to support all the different platforms for the tablets and phone, meaning iOS, Android, and Windows. And currently, this actually proves to be a good strategy, even though there's a small group of people doing this, because actually Windows doesn't have too many applications for this area. So, okay, nice, we have the hub, we able to control many devices, even the old ones and so on, but who cares? Who actually cares? Who are the users for these kind of solutions? So we have actually done quite a lot of market research during the journey. We started in 2013 and actually did the first market research then, and now we're actually getting information also from the existing customers. So we already know a little bit about the use cases and the archetypes that actually are going to use about this kind of system. So I quickly go through them. First of all, from the younger generation, there's an urban hipster who's basically has a lot of gadgets in his apartment, a loft apartment, wants to wake up, have a Zen-like wake up with the music and lights going on, and the coffee makers automatically making a coffee cup and so on. These guys are usually impressors. They want to impress their friends, and that's for them it's a good reason to buy things like this. Then the most obvious is it's actually not the engineer dad, it's actually the whole family. So hubby and wife, house, kids, and all this, these are the guys that have been buying the traditional home automation as well. With this system, you can actually kind of tackle all the different aspects of the home automation. So from the energy saving the nature, to the security features, whether it's actually the house or the property or the people living in it, and the rest of the all kinds of ways to make your life more comfortable. So going towards the older people, active seniors actually are very interesting group of people. They have the money, they are active, they have the time, they want to travel, they have multiple apartments and houses, and they want to visit their kids and so on. And they actually have one very good reason to buy something like this, is the fact that they want to know what's going on in those apartments, in those cabinets and so on, that they are not currently in. That's actually a very good reason. Currently we have many people in this customer group that have bought the system especially for kind of the other apartment. Okay, then this is actually even a bigger problem especially in Western society. The people are getting old, and we need to have solutions, how to kind of make them to live comfortable in their home as long as possible. They want to do that by themselves, so currently the customer group is actually it's not the granny, it's their kids or grandkids who are actually buying the system to know that the granny who lives home alone is doing well. So the system can actually tell you if the doors are opened in the middle of the night, something probably is then wrong, or it can also tell you that if there's no movement or activity noticed during the morning and so on. And also the system can tell that everything is fine. So it's a great way of providing comfortable comfortness for the granddaughters or the caretakers. So the answer is Cozify is for all of them. And currently what we have is actually a general product. It's actually very easy to use. We have aspects that implemented that there is no other solutions in the market when it comes to the the potential of how many devices you can control it, and then how to automate it. You can do it all it by yourself. But now we're actually taking the next steps, and it means that together with the channel partners, we are actually looking towards these actual customer groups and doing the mass customization for them, and then providing not like home automation in a box system, rather than telling a story about those use cases and selling a kind of ready-made solution, ready-thought solution for those customers. So something about, a little bit about technology and the design principles that we have had when we actually built the system. And this is very general. This actually applies from my point of view to all of the Internet of Things and smart home solutions, and everybody should actually think about this very true. So first of all, elegant and robust rule engine, it's not our words, it's basically a customer, a channel partner who said this after trying out several different systems. The rule engine is the one, the brain that makes things happen automatically. So what you can do, you can actually, as an end user, without being a programmer, you can create these automations by yourself with very intuitive user interface. Also, kind of to point out that both the designers and the engineers actually think that this is an easy problem. It's not an easy problem. Things are not, when you are in a real house and living your life, it's not creating a Boolean sentences about if this then that. There's actually true code behind those automations that have to be thought through. So there's many fallbacks where there's a kind of very simple way of doing the automation, something like put the lights on when movement or something like that, and all those exceptions that are in real life are not thought out. So we have thought that out, and we think that we have a top-notch solution for the robust and elegant rule engine. Then the second one, obviously, the first and two was there. So third one is that we are using open APIs. We are using open APIs from the big manufacturers and the small manufacturers, and that's basically a requirement for us to kind of exist. The big manufacturers and the small manufacturers actually know that we need to build a big ecosystem, so they are giving it out the APIs for us. We are going to, and we are doing the same thing, so there will be many different ways to use our system as part of the kind of bigger solution and integrate with the backends and many other devices and so on. Being autonomous, first of all, for a house to be truly automated and so on, the main functionality should not rely on internet connection. So there are many solutions where the brains are actually built into the cloud. But then what happens when the internet is cut off? Well, it means that you cannot open in the worst case, you cannot open your logs or your heating system, tears down and so on. So what we have done, carefully designed a system that works perfectly without a cloud connection. Obviously, we are using the cloud for many kind of integration and using the benefits of it, but it's not relying on that. The security is one of the big issues, and the privacy as well, of the IoT and especially the smart home. And we are actually taking care of it in many ways. First of all, we have a background of building secure systems. We are cooperating with the security experts, validating our solutions and so on. And the fifth one is part of the API. So we are not building this for only to be sold by us. We are heavily listening not only the end customers but the channel partners to find out those spearheads, and tell the right stories to the customer and build the system for it. Some word about standards, just to kind of give you an idea of what's going to happen in the next couple of years. So currently we are talking about these radios on the left hand, and that's actually, when we look at, for example, our work, it's just a small portion of it. Most of the work is done on things, how to make the things actually talk to each other in a meaningful way, and how to provide different kind of abstraction layers on top of the radios. So the next generation will be about that. So there's three different, this is my categorization, and I'm a bit kind of maybe naive, but good way to put it out. So there's three main paths going on at the same time. So there's All-Sync Alliance. It's built by Microsoft, Sony, Vodafone. Even we are part of that alliance. And but as usually, these alliances and standardization organizations are quite slow. So I really don't actually know when it actually starts to be a meaningful thing. Apple is doing their HomeKit. What I kind of, this is my perspective. They are now focusing on the wearables, on the watches, and so on. Maybe this is the first next thing that they are really putting out. Currently, they are more or less focusing on selling other companies' devices through the Apple Store and so on. But certainly, when they put their effort on this one, it will be a very meaningful environment. And the thing is that, you know, unlike usually, it's very open. So it's you can very easily start building on HomeKit and it bring even out your own user interfaces and so on. Google just released the two standards, the Weave and Brillo. They also have kind of another that works with Nest, which is the Nest thermostat. And obviously they are going to be there all over as well. So the question that usually, you know, many people ask from us is that, okay, you know, there will be a HomeKit and then you are going to die. You're going to and so on. So, but that really is not the case. The HomeKit is just actually for us to access the bigger markets and so on. And by doing, kind of supporting all these continents, we are still solving the problem for the end user that, okay, you have cams that you need to choose from. Okay, then about the channels and business models. This is how we see it, but I actually do think that it's going to complies all the aspects in general as well when it comes to the selling the home automation of IoT era. So first of all, we have had a direct to consumers channel, meaning that our own web store, a lot of social media. We actually, the first thing that we released was our own web shop together with the social media campaigns and effort to start creating conversation on our website. And we actually, especially now, are doing really well with it. So we have a very strong community of early adopters who are giving out feedback and telling, you know, how to make the product better. And all this, so it's not only kind of for the learning, it's also rewarding to see, you know, how excited these people are about our product. And you know, when we were talking about learning and lean startup models, this is actually the greatest tool that we have for ourselves. Is the direct to consumer and testing with them and so on. So we launched the webshop on March 2015 and started selling the product there at that time. Next one, what happened, we actually came out with the deal with Verkkokauppa.com, the biggest electronics retailer here in Finland. And with that and with very positive reviews from technology magazines such as Tekniikan Maailma, some TV shows such as Technavi and so on, we were actually really seeing the hockey stick in the Finnish market. However, we know that this is not a game in Finland, this is a global game, and what we are doing now is that we are opening doors with the retailers to the UK and Germany. Hopefully that we can actually release the UK deal quite soon. This for us is basically reaching out to early developers together with the not early developers, the early adopters, together with our own sales channel. We believe that that's the best way. The retailers move much more faster. However, the business model is more or less kind of selling the device, and that at the end of the day is not that attractive. We know that we are a small company and we are going to face kind of head-to-head competition with the big guys, something like Samsung and so on, who are very aggressive in this one. They probably create the market for us, but we need to have something else. And that's why we are looking the service providers actually have been looking them at from the beginning and have designed the whole system to fit the service model, so to sell it as a monthly subscription fee-based service. And we personally think that this is the greatest way to access the masses. And just to point out three of them, the ones that we have been working mostly, the telcos, ISPs, obviously are. It's for them kind of the next big thing to build on top of the data pipeline. And but the interesting thing is that also the utilities, the energy companies are moving heavily in this area. They have kind of extra benefits of this kind of system. So, for example, they actually can know how people act in their home, how do they consume the energy, and they can kind of adjust their energy production to meet that, meet those profiles and requests. So, especially with the new energy, this is a very good kind of extension to their smart grid. I'm calling it kind of the last mile for the smart grid. So you actually know what and how the users are actually using, and when they put the washing machine on and so on. Another thing is that when we go further, the user can actually say that, okay, put the laundry there and put the laundry there in the washing machine and say that, okay, within the next 9 hours, please wash the laundry. And the system actually designs when it's cheapest, i.e. also when it's the most best time for the energy company to do that. So in large scale, it matters a lot. So insurance companies are also very interesting in this area. One of the big things is that you can actually reduce the claims. So instead of currently kind of security systems and so on are about reacting on a problem, reacting when the burglary is there, and so on. So with the new wave of security, it's more like preventing bad things from happening. And obviously for insurance companies that means less claims and savings. They are, all of them are, these guys are also very interested about the data that we are providing, what the users are doing and so on, and there's a question of privacy, and with that basically we need to be very careful and also inform on the other hand, tell the user if we are using the data for something, and being very open about and clear about it. But I would guess that there are users who are willing to give out the data just to get the better benefits for themselves as well. So the big data, using the household data for creating better services and so on, it's obviously a big thing for all of these different service providers. Okay, like I said, the main business model here is monthly payment. And what we have done here, we have run pilots and different campaigns in Scandinavia. The interesting thing found here is that we actually have run pilots where we give out the system for free for testing, and then take it away after 2 months or 3 months after the testing period. And the interesting thing is that I think that the number is something like 73% of the unprofiled users want the system for themselves, and they are willing to pay for it. So it's interesting. Once you basically get used to it and you actually realize what are the things that you can do with it, how can you extend it easily, you get hooked. And that's very interesting, especially for us as a company. Another thing is that usually if people buy these things as a devices, in next month or two they are going to double the investment, and next 6 months typically triple the investment that they are putting in this system. So the last one is more or less awake. There are a lot of different kind of companies here. There are first of all real estate construction companies that are looking at solutions. And I think it's great that there are kind of forerunners here in this area, because there's a lot of kind of traditional thinking in this area. All the traditional smart home providers and electricians installing these ones are actually now. We didn't actually they were not in our focus group when we started doing. We wanted to make a very good solution for the end user and extendable in many ways. But currently, all of these parties, especially the electricians and traditional smart home providers, are approaching us, and that's because of the user experience. The old systems don't have that good UIs and the kind of overall user experience. When we look at the long-term approach, most probably Cozify is not a box. It will be a software and a service which lives in a home router or something like that, or it's actually installed in new houses and new apartments. And that's actually a core IP for us. So even though we are in the IoT area, we are building a physical box, we actually think that core IP of our company is the software and everything that we do. And with this, basically, then we are in more or less mature market. So this is how we think about the channels. Okay, unfortunately I'm not able to show a demonstration today here. However, if any of you would like to see a demonstration now, I'm able to show it to you with my phone. You get a good idea, especially how it works and so on. If you're willing to talk about business, you're most welcome to visit our offices. We have a lounge there that we can actually show all the different aspects that we can do with the system. So seeing is believing. Thank you.